Welcome. In this session, we'll see about objective questions on locomotion and movement. So here the first question from the level 1. So I'm discussing the questions from level 1. Right, so ribs are attached to. So the first option is a scapula, second option is sternum, third option clavicle and ilium. So we know that this scapula and the clavicle, so these two are parts of pectoral girdle, and this pectoral girdle supports four limbs. It supports four limbs. Okay, so then ilium, the ilium is part of pelvic girdle, part of pelvic girdle, part of pelvic girdle. Okay, right. Now coming to the B option, so we know that ribs are attached on the dorsal side. So here the ribs, so these are present on the dorsal side, and you have here on the front, that is on the ventral side, you have is a sternum. This is the sternum. So from here to here, the ribs you will see attached. Okay, so from side you can see like this. So these are the ribs. So on the ventral side, this is sternum, and on the dorsal side is the vertebral column. Okay, so it is connected, the ribs will be connected on the dorsal side with the vertebral column, and on the ventral side with the sternum. So answer, the ribs are attached to sternum will be the right answer. So the next question, ATPase of muscle is located in. So here ATPase is enzyme, right? And coming to the first option, actinin. So this actinin is different from actin. So what is this actinin? So actinin is a microfilament protein, is a microfilament protein, and this out of I mean the different actinins, alpha actinin. So alpha actinin is the one that is necessary for attachment of actin filaments, attachment of okay, actin filaments to Z lines, actin filaments to Z lines. So that we will see in okay, muscle cells, in muscle cells. Okay, so if you see the actin in this way, so these are the actin filaments, and you will find the actinin, so connecting, so this one with this one, so you may see something like this. So this is the actin filament. So whereas this one is actinin filament. Okay, so now coming to the next troponin. So we know in case of the actin, so it has two F actins along with the two tropomyosins, and attached on the tropomyosin you will find okay, troponin. we'll find the troponin. Okay, so this troponin has different subunits, okay, that we'll see it later. Then coming to the myosin, so this is the head which actually binds with the actin filament, and we know the myosin head will have two parts. Okay, so I mean two sides. So one of this side will be the point where the attachment of actin takes place. So this is, we call the actin binding site, and this is ATP binding site. Is the ATP binding site. So this is the point where the ATPase enzyme activity is seen. That's the site on myosin. So this is the myosin head. So the myosin head consists of these two parts. So answer is myosin. So ATPase of muscle is located in myosin. So let's see the next question. So the next question, which one of the following options is incorrect? So the following options is incorrect. So let's see the first one, hinge joint between humerus and pectoral girdle. Okay, so we know that, okay, the joint that exists between humerus and pectoral girdle, the joint that exists between these two is ball and socket type of joint. Okay, so this one is present between the humerus and the pectoral girdle. Okay, so we know the humerus head will fit into, okay, so the part, so we see here as the pectoral girdle. So here this is the clavicle, okay, and here is the one that forms a glenoid cavity. Okay, into that it fits in glenoid cavity. So this is the head of the humerus. Okay, so the hinge joint is not present between humerus and pectoral girdle. So you may see the hinge joint in case of elbow. So elbow joint and knee joints, we can take them as the hinge joints, okay. So hence this is a wrong statement. So now let's see the next one, pivot joint between atlas axis and occipital condyles. Yes, this is a right statement. Gliding joint, yes, between the carpals. Then saddle joint between carpal and metacarpal of thumb. So these options are right, so only the first option is wrong. So as the question asked, incorrect statement, so answer is A. Let's see the next question. Knee joint and elbow joints are examples of. So just in the previous question we have seen the knee joint and elbow joints are examples of hinge joint that allow the movement only to, okay, certain extent. So you can see below in this picture, right, here, okay, so the process that will help, okay, the hand to move only, okay, up to this angle. So this is if you visualize, so this one will not allow, okay, so if it moves over here, so it gets touched with this and it cannot move further. So this is what happens, okay, in case of a hinge joint. So here this bone is what we call ulna, okay, and this is the radius, Now this ulna has a small projection, so which I have just marked here. So that is called olecranon process. Is called olecranon process. Okay, so this olecranon process, the olecranon process uh, will help, okay, in preventing the movement of this hand further, right? Now we know already the ball and socket type of joint. Here about the saddle joint. So coming to this saddle joint, so here this I'm showing the example for the saddle joint, and this one is for the pivot joint. So when you see here, okay, the saddle joint is present. So example for this saddle joint is the carpo metacarpal joint. So it will be carpo metacarpal joint. So which means that this is a joint between the carpals and metacarpals. So it is between carpals and metacarpals. So joint between the carpals and metacarpals. So this is how you see in between these wrist bones and the palm bones. Okay, right. So this type of joint we call it the saddle joint. And coming to this pivot joint, okay, so this bone which is present above, so this is we call the atlas, and the one that is present below is axis. So this bone, okay, so that is present here is axis, and the one that is present here is the atlas. Okay, so atlas is the first vertebra of the vertebral column, and the axis is the second one. So this is the first vertebra, and this will be the second one here. And you can see there is a small projection of the axis that fits into the atlas, and this will help in the movement of this atlas in either of the direction. So you can see it can move in this direction or in this direction. So that is the reason why we are able to move our head to left and right. So this is towards the left and to right movement. Okay, so this pivot joint will help the movement to left and right to certain extents, not beyond that one. Okay, right. Of course, these are the points where the condyles, the occipital condyles of the skull will sit on, right? So this is the pivot joint here. So the knee joint and elbow joint. So here this is the elbow. So the knee joint also will be in the same way. The knee joint and the elbow joints are examples of the hinge joint. Okay, so not the saddle pivot or the ball and socket type of joint. So let's see the next question. The next question, macrophages and leukocytes exhibit. So here the macrophages, okay, which are also a type under the leukocytes, they usually exhibit okay, the amoeboid movement. So here ciliary movement, the movement that takes place through cilia, through cilia. Okay, the flagellar movement will take place through flagella. Okay, and amoeboid movement that takes place through pseudopodia. So coming to the gliding movement, so the gliding joints will form that gliding movement. So when, okay, the flat bones, they move one above the other, okay, so something like this. Okay, so this is what we call, okay, the gliding movement. So this gliding movement, we can see, of course, the gliding joints, you'll see case of gliding joints. So these gliding joints are seen in case of the carpals and tarsal bones, carpals and tarsal bones. Okay, right. So coming to these macrophages and leukocytes, so you may find, okay, so this is how you see the pseudopodia formation. Okay, and this will try to engulf the foreign substances that enter into our body. So you will see, okay, in macrophages and leukocytes, the amoeboid type of movement. So they show amoeboid type of movement. So the next question, an acromion process is characteristically found in. So this Acromion process is actually a part of scapula. It is associated with the scapula, and the scapula is a part of the pectoral girdle. Is part of pectoral girdle. Okay, so here I'm showing you the ventral surface of the scapula, showing the ventral surface of the scapula, because the dorsal surface will show a spine on it. Okay, so as you're not seeing it, so this will be the ventral surface, and you can see a projection. So this part is what we call the acromion process. So this is the acromion process. Okay, and this one is the, okay, the coracoid process. So you can see here, so this one is the coracoid process. Okay, and below this is, okay, a depression that is called glenoid cavity. Into this, the head of the humerus fits. Okay, so an acromion process is characteristically found, okay, not in the pelvic girdle. Okay, so we see it in the pectoral girdle of mammals. Okay, it's not even in the skull of frog. The acromion process is not only in the frog, in any other animals also the acromion process is not part of the skull. Then sperms, not at all. So answer is pectoral girdle of mammals. So the next question, how many ribs are present in human beings? Okay, so we know that there are total 24 ribs. So total number of ribs are 24. Okay, so on the left side they will be 12 in number, and on the right side they will be 12 in number. So total to 24. So which means there are 12 pairs of ribs present. So how many ribs are present in human beings? There will be total 12 pairs of ribs present in human beings. So option C will be the right answer. So the next question, acetabulum occurs in. So this acetabulum is a part of pelvic girdle. Acetabulum is part of pelvic girdle, is part of pelvic girdle, and you can see here. Okay, so this portion is ilium, is the portion ilium, and this portion is ischium. And okay, so you can see here a small, okay, cavity. So it is this into which the head of the femur fits in. So this is what we call it, the acetabulum. Okay, so acetabulum will be present in case of pectoral, I'm sorry, not pectoral girdle, it is present in case of pelvic girdle. So cranium, we know it's called the brain box, so which accommodates brain. Okay, so vertebrae, which will be the part of vertebral column, so they are part of vertebral column, right? So answer is B, pelvic girdle. The next question, the lower jaw of man is made up of, so here the lower jaw is also called the mandible. So this mandible is only one. So here the lower jaw of man is made up of only one bone. Okay, two bones you may find in case of maxilla. So that will be the upper jaw. So answer is only one bone. So no bone, only muscles is not an option, and also three bones. So the right option is A. So let's see the next question. Find out the correct vertebral formula in human skeleton. So here, in case of human skeleton, we have okay, total around 26, you know, vertebrae. So the vertebral column. So the number of vertebrae in the vertebral column is 26. So I told you that the last bones are a fusion. So actually the number should be present around okay, 33. So let's see here. Uh, Coming to the first cervical vertebrae. Cervical vertebrae. So these cervical vertebrae are designated from C1 to C7, and they are total 7 in number. And coming to the next one, the thoracic vertebrae. The thoracic vertebrae will be from T1 to T12. So that will be 12 in region. So already I told you the cervical vertebrae, so they are present in the neck region. Cervix means neck. Okay, then lumbar vertebrae. Lumbar vertebrae. So the lumbar vertebrae are around 5, so designated as L1 to L5, and their number is 5, located in the lumbar region, which is present below the thoracic region. Then the next one is the sacrum. So this is only one, which is a fusion of 5 bonds. So fusion of 5 bonds. The next one is the coccyx, and this is also only one, and it is a fusion of one bone. So this is the one, so where we need to take, okay, so C7, okay, T12, L5, and the sacrum 1 and coccyx 1. Of course they are a fusion of 5 and 1 respectively. So if you see here the options, C7, T8, L5, S6, and okay, so the bracket indicates the fusion, so hence this is wrong. Okay, then coming to C8, T8, no, this is also wrong. Okay, then coming to C7, okay, T12, yes, right, L5, yes, then S is actually fusion of okay, 5 bonds, so this indicates in the bracket the fusion. And C4, so it the coccyx, the tailbone is the fusion of you know I'm sorry, here I mentioned one bone. No, it is a fusion of four bones. So accidentally I mentioned okay, one bone. So coccyx is a fusion of four bones. So here the coccyx is a fusion of four bones. So sacrum is a fusion of five bones and coccyx is a fusion of four bones. So answer is C. And coming to the D, not at all. The sacrum is wrong here, and even okay, the lumbar is not correct, and also the coccyx is not correct. So option, this is also not the option. Only C will be the right option. So the next question, in myofibrils, the term sarcomere refers to the distance between. So here, let us see. Okay, the myofibril in which the sarcomeres are present. Okay, so this is these are all actin filaments. And again here also we'll see the actin filaments. We'll see on this side too. Okay, right now in between this we have the myofibril, I'm sorry, myosin. So actin and this is myosin. So here too we have the myosin. Okay, right now this line, so here we see this is the one. Okay, this where only actin filaments are present, this is called the I band. And here, okay, where actin and myosin filaments okay overlapped, so this band will become the A band. Okay, so again you will see the I band. So that's what the I band and A band are alternatively okay, I mean present. So here in the I band you will see okay, so this portion is the Z line. So this is the Z line. Here also same, you will see the Z line. So now from one Z line to another Z line, from one Z line to another Z line is one sarcomere. Okay, so in myofibril the term sarcomere refers to the distance between okay, not two I bands, okay, Z and A band, not at all. So you have here is the one between two Z lines. Yes, okay, from one Z line to and another Z line is the sarcomere. So option B will be the right, not between A and I bands. So in myofibrils, the term sarcomere refers to the distance between two Z lines. So the next question, smallest bone is. So the first option here we have is a femur. So the femur is the longest and strongest bone in the entire body. Okay, so coming to these carpals, no, okay, which are the carpals are not the smallest bones, and nor the nostril the nasal bones are smallest. So coming to here, the stapes, we know the smallest bones are present in the inner ear, and among them, okay, we have is the malleus, incus, and stapes. So the smallest bones out of that, the stapes is the smallest bone in the entire body. And here the muscle that is attached to this, we call it the stapedius. So stapedius muscle. So this stapedius muscle is the smallest skeletal muscle. So in the entire body, the smallest skeletal muscle. So it keeps the stapes in position. So stapedius muscle attached to the stapes is the smallest muscle. So stapes is the smallest bone, and stapedius muscle is the smallest skeletal muscle, so whose length may be around 1 mm. So it is in 1 mm in length. Okay, coming here, I will also give you a few more points. Okay, so the longest muscle, so the longest muscle is sartorius muscle. The longest muscle is sartorius muscle. Okay, and this is found in the anterior region of the thigh. So found in anterior region of thigh, present in the anterior region of thigh. Then coming to the strongest muscle, the strongest muscle is masseter. Okay, so this masseter muscle is the muscle of jaws, the muscle of jaws. Then the largest muscle, so the largest muscle, so it is gluteus maximus. Gluteus maximus is the largest muscle. So here, so the smallest muscle, okay, and then the longest muscle, the strongest muscle, and the largest muscles I have given here. Okay, so the smallest bone is stapes. So answer is stapes. So the next question, find out the correct order of number of bones in the parts of skull, such as cranial bone, facial bone, hyoid bone, and middle ear bone respectively. Okay, so we'll see here, we know that the number of cranial bones are 8. So the number of cranial bones are 8. So there we have occipital bone, so it is 1, and the one we have is temporal bones, that in number. Then we have parietal bones, the number is 2, and sphenoid bones, and sphenoid bones, their number, okay, is 1, and ethmoid bone, so this ethmoid bone is also 1, and the frontal bone is 1. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the total number of cranial bones are 8. Then coming to the total number of facial bones. So total number of facial bones are 14. So they are 14. So what they are include, we have is a warmer bone, that is 1 in number. Then we have the nasal concave, so these are 2 in number. and third one is nasal bones. So these nasal bones will be 2 in number, and then we have is the maxilla. The maxilla is 2 in, so it's a fusion. Okay, it's a fusion of two bones. The upper jaw, this forms the upper jaw, that it has two bones. Then the next one we have is a mandible. So this mandible will have only one bone. So this is the upper jaw, and this one is the lower jaw. So the next we have is palatine bone. We have is palatine bone. So this palatine bone is 2 in number. The next one we have is the zygomatic bone. So these zygomatic bones are also 2 in number, and then there are lacrimal bones. So they are also 2 in number. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So total you have is 14 facial bones. And coming to the hyoid bone, so the hyoid bone is a right U-shaped bone. So this is a U-shaped bone, and the number is only one hyoid bone is present. And coming to the middle ear, so this middle ear, it consists of 3 ear ossicles. So the tiny bones, okay, so which just now seen the malleus, incus and stapes. So the order will be so 8, 14, okay, 1 and 3, so respectively. So out of this, the D option 8, 14, 1 and 3 will be the right option. So the next question: during contraction of muscles, calcium ions bind to. So we know, okay, on the tropomyosin at regular intervals, we see the attachment of troponin. Okay, so this is troponin, and it has the subunits. We know those subunits as TNC, okay, TNI and TNT. So these are the three subunits of the troponin. Okay, and it is this TNC which has affinity to calcium ions. It has affinity to calcium ions, whereas this TNI, it has affinity to actin, whereas the TNT, so this TNT has an affinity to tropomyosin, affinity to tropomyosin. Okay, right. Then coming to this, the different words we have here is the colmodulin. We have is colmodulin. So this colmodulin is a calcium binding protein. It's a calcium binding protein which is found in the cytoplasm of all eukaryotic cells. So found in cytoplasm of all eukaryotic cells, all eukaryotic cells. Okay, and this one acts as a regulator or effector, acts as regulator or effector molecule in a wide variety of cellular functions, in wide variety of cellular functions. Okay, then coming to another one called calbidin. So this one is a vitamin D dependent. It's an vitamin D dependent, okay, calcium binding protein. A calcium binding protein. Okay, right. So which are of course this calcium binding protein that you will find, okay, in intestine and kidney. In intestine and kidneys, in the locations, in those locations you will find this calbidin. So we don't have, okay, the calbidin and okay, this calmidin are not the option. So calmodulin and calbidin are not the options. Then coming to troponin A, we don't have this troponin A. Then it is the troponin C. It is the one. So as I mentioned here, it has affinity to calcium ions. So this is the tropomyosin. Okay, so the answer for this one is troponin C is the right answer. So that we will see it, okay. I mean the remaining questions we'll see it in the next session.